What's going on, guys? It's Asal, and today we are talking about what worked with the Star Wars Battlefront beta, what didn't work with the beta, as well as some things that I would like to see change moving into the final launch of the game, and just talking about the general longevity of the game. Now, I know this video is a little outdated. I probably should have made this about 3 weeks ago, but regardless, let's jump right into things. So jumping right into what works, the theme. The Star Wars theme is absolutely perfect. Every sound, every character model, every explosion, it's all perfect. The theme, they absolutely nailed it with the Star Wars theme. Everything you do, everything you hear, you're like, hey, that's from the movie, that's Star Wars, that's exactly how it should have been. The theme is absolutely perfect. They really haven't skimped out in any way with the theme, so it really feels like a very genuine Star Wars game and really adds to the immersion when you're in your TIE Fighter or your X-Wing, and the sounds are just absolutely on point. Graphically, the game looks exceptional. The flying mechanics are really fun and easy to do. It's very satisfying to shoot down an enemy TIE Fighter and just watch it blow up and spin and crash to the ground with all the perfect Star Wars sounds in sync. So that part of the game is really fun. The flying is relatively simple. It's a little toned down from that of Battlefield, but that's okay because I found flying to be a little difficult in Battlefield games. So it's really nice just to be able to jump in, fly, and just feel like you're just an awesome Star Wars pilot and not worry about fighting the mechanics too much. The overall polish of the game is just quite good. The mechanics are polished, the gunplay feels smooth. We don't have any Battlefield 4 related netcode issues, which Battlefield 4 suffers as it runs on the same engine, Frostbite 3. The matchmaking, despite a lot of complaints, actually works very well. Yes, you can't join servers that your friends are on, or you can, but you can't join servers that are specifically catered to your liking, but the matchmaking gets you in very fast and you have very little downtime between games. Now, at the surface level, this game is incredibly fun. I jumped in, I had a really great time playing it. This isn't a hate video against the game. These are just some things that I think the game needs to change in order to adapt and be a successful title, because it's definitely not perfect, but at the surface level, when you first jump into the game, it really does have a lot of play value. Now let's talk about what doesn't work so well. The gameplay and just the gunplay in general is relatively simple. We don't have any gun customization that we know of. Every gun has infinite ammo with a bit of a cooldown. You don't actually even have to reload your weapons. And the gunplay itself, it doesn't take long to master. For the most part, it feels like, for most kills, you just kind of have to click or hold down the trigger and just wait until the person dies. Sure, you have to aim a little bit, but you don't have to worry about bullet drop or recoil or anything like that. Especially in third person, there is literally no recoil with your weapons. So, I mean, this is great. It offers a very simple gameplay that a lot of people can jump into, but as far as longevity of the game is concerned, I think the simplicity may hurt the game a little bit in the long term. Now, of course, there were some technical issues, or not really technical issues, but just kind of issues with how the gameplay was designed that I think can be fixed relatively easily. First of all, we're talking about balancing issues on certain maps, that being the Battle of Hoth, but I'm sure that will be ironed out. It was basically very difficult for the rebels to ever win. Now, that kind of makes sense in the Star Wars universe because they were severely outnumbered. But for like a game, it should be fair. It was very difficult for them to win, and if a team ever did win as the Rebels, it was an amazing feat. Now, the spawning also is quite atrocious. Now, it's been a while since I've played a game where the spawning and the spawn trapping is just so downright bad. You can have your entire team of 20 players spawning in one location right in front of the walker, and it is just a massacre. It's awful. It's not a lot of fun, and a lot of the time you feel like you're always spawning in the same place, and it makes the gameplay feel quite stale because you're always traversing like the same area to get back into the action, and you might even die before you even get into the action. Then you have to run back up that same hill, and it's just a little bit, you know, I feel like the spawns could be a little more randomized than having everyone spawn in the exact same location. Now, again, going back to the notion of the simplicity of the gameplay, the skill gap is relatively small. While there's no doubt skill involved with aiming, in a one-on-one gunfight, it often seems that whoever starts shooting first will get the kill. Now, of course, you can strafe, you can jump around, you can make it harder for your opponent to hit you, but for the most part, there isn't a whole lot to the gunplay, making it feel like there isn't a whole lot you can do to turn a gunfight around if you haven't started shooting first. So needless to say, competitive play probably won't see any light in Star Wars which isn't the end of the world, but for me, I'm generally a more competitive player and I enjoy longevity in a shooter in that aspect. I enjoy being able to get better and being able to improve and come back and rank up even. So maybe even a ranking system in Battlefront would be absolutely perfect. But again, I don't think they will be going too much for the competitive side of things. So again, this is just another reason why I think the game may struggle over the long term, because there isn't a ton of reason for players to come back after a few months after the game comes out. Don't get me wrong, I think the game will be a great success. It will sell lots of copies, but maybe after a few months, just the kind of novelty of a new Star Wars game might fade. Now, don't get me wrong, again, the Star Wars theme is great, but I think a lot of people are looking at the game through their Star Wars love goggles and aren't really taking a step back and looking at the actual core gameplay itself and judging that on its own without thinking about the fact that it is a Star Wars game. Now, will I be picking up this game? I probably will. I'm not entirely sure yet what I will think about the game. I'll probably be getting it, but again, this was a beta, so take everything I'm saying with a grain of salt. Take everything anyone is saying with a grain of salt, because we still haven't seen the full game yet, and we don't know a ton about the game yet either. Now, everybody, if you have enjoyed this video, please hit that like button. I always appreciate that so very much, and if you want to see more videos just like this guy, you can hit the subscribe button and see all my awesome videos whenever they come out. Everyone, this has been Asal, and I will see you guys next time.